If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/audio.
Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Hey, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. I'm the head of Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can find a link to my work at emailrevealer.com. If you want to get an autographed copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator, you can get that at emailrevealer.com. And if you're interested in an adoption investigation, if you've been separated from your biological family through the adoption process, we can reunite you with an adoption investigation. Asset searches, locates, nothing. Mother's Day coming up, but no, forget it. Who cares? emailrevealer.com. A lot of great stuff over there at emailrevealer.com. The show's brought to you by GetTheTea.com. Get the Tea. GetTheTea.com. Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. I've been drinking a tea now, I guess about 3 weeks. And I've been on the Daniel fast. It will be 2 weeks, Monday morning. 2 weeks. And that's 2 weeks without any kind of alcohol, any kind of sugar, any kind of coffee, no meat, no fish. I'm vegan anyway. But Daniel fast is just fruits, nuts, berries, vegetables, a lot of beans, a lot of legumes. For 21 days. But I think I'm going to go way further this time because I'm feeling so good. Like never before on the Daniel fast. My listeners know that I enjoy this Daniel fast so much. I do it all the time. Sometimes I've gone as much as months. I've gone like 3, 4, 5 months on a Daniel fast. So this time I'm feeling really good. And I've never lost so much weight so quickly in the first couple of weeks of the Daniel fast. And today I've been hiking too. I've been hiking about 4 times. The weather's getting nice out here in Vegas. And today I went on a hike called the Black Mountain Trail. And this is the highest point in Henderson. And when you get to the top, this is a serious hike, man. It's the highest peak in Henderson. When you get to the top, you can see the lake. You can see the Strip. You can see Mount Charleston. You can see into Arizona. Okay? So this is a serious hike. It's a serious peak. The first time I started doing this hike was about 12 years ago when Victoria was 5 years old. And it would take us 8 hours to get to the top of this peak. And that was after we were hiking all the time back in those days. We used to hike like maniacs, like mountain goats, they used to call us. So I haven't hiked this trail. It's a very serious trail, a very difficult trail. And I haven't hiked it in a couple of years, about 3 or 4 years, to tell you the truth. I even had a little trouble finding it. But I went out there today. and I owe it, I think, to the Life Change Tea. I didn't make it all the way to the top, but I could have if I didn't have a time constraint. If I wasn't worried about getting back here in time to do the show, I definitely could have made it to the top and back easily. And I'm telling you, this is without that much training this year. Did a lot of bike riding last year, but it's been the winter. I've been sitting home. Plus, I got this hernia. I can't work out at home. I'm not doing push-ups and stuff like I normally do. So getthetea.com, Life Change Tea. Check it out. You can't go wrong. You got to at least go to the website to getthetea.com and check out the supplements, the other different kind of teas, all the herbal remedies on there, and just give it a chance. Okay, just you might find something on there besides the Life Change Tea that catches your fancy and get you off into a good start and change things up for you. If you're in the Las Vegas area on March 31st, head down to the Fashion Show Mall. Between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. at the Kendra Scott Jewelry Store in the Fashion Show Mall, they're going to be serving desserts and drinks. But 20% of their sales will be donated to the Hope Medical Clinic. That's run by Dr. Elliot Shin. If you go to the members section, we did an interview with Dr. Shin. Fascinating guy, traveled all over the world, did all kind of fascinating stuff, the Army and stuff like that. But now he runs a free medical clinic for people who don't have insurance, for people that are poor, and top quality medical care for people down there. I've sent a few friends down there. It's located over there on Sahara by the Trinity Life Center's City Impact Center. Now, if you're not in the Vegas area, you can make a phone order to the Kendra Scott Jewelry Store located in Fashion Show Mall, and 20% of that purchase will go to the the Hope Medical Clinic. So I really encourage you to get out there and meet Dr. Shin and the fine volunteers that they have, and check out their free food and drinks. And 20% of your purchase goes to the Hope Medical Clinic. Okay, let's see what's coming up. Oh, I got some great shows I taped. See if I can even remember. My God, I taped 7 hours worth of shows this week, my friends. Who was that guy? Joe Franklin. Joe Franklin, my friends. Oh, my friend's name. Well, welcome to the Joe Franklin Show. This is Joe Franklin, my friends. We have tonight. Who was that guy? I can't remember his name there. David Brenner. David Brenner's coming on here. And Shlomo from Shlomo's shoe store will be on after David Brenner. Joe Franklin. The Joe Franklin Show. What did I tape this week? Let me see. I did so many freaking shows this week. My God. Oh, Mike Parziale. Oh, we did a great fast-paced 2-hour show with Mike Parziale. I really enjoy that. You know, Mike doesn't do any other radio shows but the Opperman Report. And he's really tuned into all these. He's the guy behind MJVictims.com, which is the Michael Jackson victims. He supports the victims of Michael Jackson's sexual abuse. And so he's really tuned into all this stuff. He's tuned into all the people with the behind the scenes at the Corey Feldman, Corey Haim thing, And, he's into all that stuff, man. He really gets involved. Reminds me a lot of David Schroeder. Him and David Schroeder probably would get along great. They would create a monster. The two of them got together. I can only imagine. David Schroeder, I love you if you're out there. And Mike Parziale, I love you too, man. You're a good guy. So we talk about a whole bunch. We talk about R. Kelly. We talk about, oh my goodness, another guy from that Den, the Digital Entertainment Network that was exposed in an open secret. Oh, boy, what else did we talk about? I don't even remember. It was such a long day. So I taped 2 hours with Mike Parziale. Oh, and then we taped, I did a show with Wayne Madsen from WayneMadsenReports.com. And it's a 2-hour show. And we talk about the 2016 lawsuit, the Katie Doe lawsuit against Donald Trump, presidential candidate, and Jeffrey Epstein, convicted child rapist. And in that lawsuit, Katie Doe has two witnesses, some childhood friends of hers, who came forth with affidavits. One of his name was Joan, another one's name is Tiffany. And they're not their real names, but they came forward with affidavits to support her claims that she shared the stories with her way back when she was 13, 14 years old. In her complaint, she describes Trump saying to her, "You better keep your mouth shut, otherwise you'll wind up like Maria." And the inference in the complaint was that Maria winds up dead or missing or whatever. Something nefarious happened to Maria. Well, Wayne Madsen firmly believes that he has located Maria. And he believes it's the same girl who was a Maria that was abducted in front of a pizzeria in Waterbury, Connecticut. And a lot of mysterious stuff happens down there in Waterbury, Connecticut. The police chief, the mayor wound up going to prison for, with this prostitute, and he was molesting the prostitute's underage daughter. It's being provided for sexual services by this prostitute. A lot of interesting stuff. So Wayne Madsen's convinced of this, and he lays out his case on the Opperman Report. We have 2 hours with him. That's coming up. Keep your eyes out for that. Then Mike Parziale, always a great show, fast-paced, really knows his stuff. So we got a good 4 hours coming up for you. We taped an hour, too, with James Strover from the Nevada Green Party. If you're not paying attention to what's going on here in the Nevada Green Party, the local prosecutor, oh my God, I can't remember his name, indicted this man, Patrick Duffy, who was being described as like a homeless man. He picked up this little part-time work getting signatures on the Green Party petitions by this company called the White Paper Company. And it turns out that the people who ran this company kind of pulled a scam on the Green Party, and they just filled out a bunch of forms using the voter registration rolls. They just sat in a motel room and just filled out these forms, and then they had these homeless people get them notarized and paid them a couple of bucks. So we lay out the whole case there, what happened there with the Nevada Green Party, and how Bernie got ripped off here in Nevada. Then the Green Party got shut down because they weren't allowed to. We couldn't even vote for Jill Stein here in Nevada. Anyway, that whole story, we handle that. That's another hour I got for you. Hour of content. That's after adding like about 6 hours to the members section. So we're pumping out things here. Keep an eye out for there's an episode on YouTube and Spreaker and iHeart called Urgent Plea to Raise Funds to keep the Opera Report on air. We can still use your funds. We're okay as long as Cox reverses the unlawful, unauthorized charge that they withdrew some funds from my account without my permission. $468. Okay. If they reverse that, and then the bank will reverse the overdrafts, and we'll all be fine. Cox will get paid, and then my bank will be, otherwise, we could be struggling. So listen to the tape there, and if you can help out, you can help out. You can become a member. I'm offering memberships for $60. You get 13 months for $60, and it'll help us keep funded here and keep our activities going. Okay, let's get into the show. Really good show tonight. If you're not racing off to Kendra Scott Jewelry Store in the Fashion Show Mall. R. Kelly, oh my goodness. If it's not bad enough, R. Kelly, my goodness. This guy should be in prison to begin with, because they got these videos at him of him urinating on these young girls, these young underage girls. All right? There was a lawsuit. He skated out of all that stuff, got away with it. But what's going on now? There's an article and there's a documentary coming out that the BBC is putting out, right, where R. Kelly is accused of grooming a 14-year-old girl as a sex pet and keeping her in a cage. This is what R. Kelly's up to now. In a BBC documentary, his former girlfriend, Kit Jones, alleges that R&B star groomed an underage girl, as well as her and other young women. Now, Kelly has refused all comment on this. So he hasn't even come out and sent his lawyers out to deny this. Now, during 2 years of dating Kelly from 2011 onwards, Kitty Jones, 34 years old, says she was groomed by him also. and forced to have sex with him and others at least 10 times a day in a sex dungeon. She says, I was introduced to one of the girls that he told me he trained since she was 14 years old. Those were his words. I saw that she was dressed like me and that she was saying things I'd say, and her mannerisms were like mine. That's when it clicked in my head that he had been grooming me to be one of his pets. He calls them his pets. This is what she says in this documentary. We got to get the filmmaker for this on our show. She also goes on to describe, I don't know why it's not in my notes here, because I definitely had put this in my notes, but she also describes how he had ordered her to get on the floor and crawl over and perform oral sex on Kitty Jones. So this is stuff she's witnessed firsthand. You got to wonder why cops aren't jumping down his throat. Why there isn't an investigation into this, a police investigation. If they know where he lives, this is probable cause to get a search warrant to go in there and check out and see if he's got these cages and these underage girls in there. Let's go in there and check it out. No, there's no reason why not. No reason whatsoever why not. So that's R. Kelly. Check that out and check out that upcoming video coming out. I think it's called Sex, Lies, and Videotapes and Piss and stuff. Oh, boy. There's been some interesting developments here with this Pulse nightclub. You know what? I want to take a commercial break here. And then we'll come back. We'll get to the Pulse nightclub. Let's see if I'm set up over here. As usual, I'm not. Oh, that wasn't too bad. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hi folks, Ronnie here from Life Change Tea. There's a lot of hubbub about the ramifications of GMOs. First of all, what are GMOs? Genetically modified organisms. Yee! Man-made organisms entering our body, changing and damaging us from the inside out. What's our defense? First of all, not eating them. Second, cleansing from them when we do eat them. Thank God for Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Life Change Tea cleanses from toxins, heavy metals, and helps flush GMOs out of your body. Our unique blend of herbs help cleanse you from the inside out, helping you feel refreshed and clean of yee. We also carry unique one-of-a-kind supplements. So order online at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Rid yourself of the yee that contaminates your food and water. Go to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Get the Tea, your best defense.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.
We all have questions. Did he do it or did he not? We all have opinions, but do we really know the truth? New evidence will now be presented and the ultimate answers will be revealed in the explosive documentary, Serpents Rising. Inspired by the bestseller Double Cross for Blood, an independent investigation of the trial of the century, the lies, the myths, and the concealed evidence. Don't miss Serpents Rising.
This excellent documentary film is available at Serpents Rising at Vimeo Videos on demand. Watch it for $1.99.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We're discussing R. Kelly. I forgot to mention that there was one occasion, I forget what it was, when Michael Jackson, a big scandal happened with Michael Jackson. He was accused of something, whatever, and he had been rehearsing at a studio over here in Las Vegas. And when they made the announcement, they said, "What?" And hanging around the studio with Michael Jackson was Mike Tyson, R. Kelly, and then they mentioned that basketball player, the one that got accused of rape up there in Colorado. It was like a rapist convention, hanging around with Michael Jackson. You know, just a little side note there. Hey, let's see here. What do we want to talk about next? The Pulse nightclub. Well, just before airtime tonight, they announced that Noor Salman, who is the wife of the Pulse shooter, was acquitted. Walked out of the courtroom for her involvement in these Pulse nightclub shooting down there in Orlando, Florida. You might remember that. And part of the reason for that was that, oh my goodness, it was revealed, the prosecutor had to reveal, that her father-in-law, the father of Omar Mateen, the shooter, Omar Mateen was the shooter, Noor Salman was his wife, and Omar Mateen's father was Sadiq Mateen. And it turns out that Sadiq Mateen has been an FBI informant for 11 years. Well, what do you know? Okay, well, what do you know? Now, this is going to give fodder to all the crisis actor folks out there. I got to ask you. Listen, when we get into this story, what we're going to find here is that this family is a cesspool of CIA and FBI. All right? If FBI informants and CIA agents, or not agents, but CIA assets. So there's something going on here, right? Something is rotten in the state of Orlando, Florida, okay, down at the Pulse nightclub there. So something, went wrong, okay? But that doesn't mean everybody's a crisis actor and it didn't happen. Look at the parking lot. There doesn't fit enough cars for this club, and all that. The club's been shut down for all this crazy stuff. Did you ever think maybe that if this is some kind of operation, you got an FBI guy here, you got a CIA guy, you got FBI. Let me give you some of the other factors going on here, okay? Omar Mateen's mosque had contacted the FBI, okay, telling them, hey, we're concerned about this guy. His co-workers called the cops, expressing alarm at his comments and behavior. Mateen was vocal about his support for terrorism, threatened co-workers with death, and made sure everyone knew that his family had ties to terrorism. The FBI agent who was assigned to investigate Omar Mateen was Sadiq Mateen's FBI handler. So the guy who's handing that payoff money, or that rat money, okay, the informant money, to Sadiq Mateen is assigned to investigate Sadiq Mateen's son, Omar Mateen. We got a problem here, okay, obviously. By the way, too, Omar Mateen, well, it's not widely known, but he worked for G4. G4S is what it's called now, but it's the old Whack and Hunt Corporation. So he worked as a security guard for this G4S Whack and Hunt Corporation. And G4S and Whack and Hunt, they got the contracts for prisons and the government security projects and stuff like that. They're goes back to Octopus and the Promise software and all that kind of stuff. So the FBI, not the FBI, the prosecutor prosecuting Noor Solomon, who is Omar Mateen's wife, has to come out and admit that the father-in-law was an FBI informant for 11 years. But now, what they can't admit, because it's a crime to admit, it's a crime to out a CIA agent, okay? And that's a crime. If you say, hey, someone, look, we have enough goods here on this guy to prove that he's a CIA agent. You can't do that, right? Like Ruslan, right? Ruslan, the uncle in the Boston bombing case with his CIA connections up the wazoo. But Mad Cow Productions, madcowprod.com, good old Daniel Hopsicker, who's been on this show. When you go and Google, what's this guy's name here? Sadiq Mateen, CIA. Very little comes up. All that comes up, as a matter of fact, is how he's FBI informant. But if you do a little search in there, you'll find Mad Cow Productions, madcowprod.com. Daniel Hopsicker wrote an excellent article on this, outing Sadiq Mateen as CIA. And he got some interesting stuff going on with this guy here. First of all, he's pictured with who? Congressman, California Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher. Rohrabacher, how do you pronounce it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. But this guy turns up everywhere. Where his name came up, we had, what's his name there? Ted Rubenstein on the show, and his name came up in his investigations. Name comes up every time, what's his name comes on there. And who is this guy? Who is this guy, Dana Rohrabacher, right? Well, Rohrabacher was initially elected to Congress in 1988 with the fundraising help of his friend, Oliver North. Rohrabacher's decades-long involvement in all things Afghan. All right, and there's a picture of this Dana Rohrabacher with who? Sadiq Mateen. They're photographed together. Got a picture of them together. And Sadiq Mateen is a longtime CIA asset whose TV show receives funding from Voice of America. Also, too, and it's not in this article here, I forgot to put it in my notes. Boy, I did a crappy job in my notes today. Sadiq Mateen, for some reason, shows up after his son shoots up the Pulse nightclub. He shows up at a Hillary Clinton rally, sitting behind Hillary Clinton, holding a sign. And then later on, out in front of the rally, holding a Hillary Clinton sign. You know? And let me tell you something. The Hillary Clinton rallies are way, way more organized and vetted out and produced than the Bernie rallies and the Trump rallies. And they really make sure they know who's sitting behind Clinton at their rallies. You got to be connected. Okay? My daughter Victoria and her friends, they snuck in behind the Bernie thing. They came up with this little trick because her friends, she has a couple of Muslim friends who wear the hijabs. So whenever they would see him, they'd sit him right behind Bernie. So they'd bring their friend with them so they could go sit behind Bernie. But even then, you know, one of her signs, they didn't like her sign, you know, because it said, had the Hillary logo on it, you know, and it said, I'm with him instead of I'm with her. And they didn't like that. But still, she's able to weasel her way, or finagle, not weasel, that's not the word I'm looking for, finagle her way behind Bernie. And we know we got this Blacks for Trump guy, he's able to finagle his way behind Trump. But there's no way you're finagling your way behind the scenes at a Hillary Clinton rally. That is everyone there is on the payroll, man. They're union people, they're supporters, they're volunteers, they're staff. No one there just wanders in off the street and winds up behind Hillary Clinton at a Hillary Clinton rally. Oh, boy. Well, what do we got next for you? Well, it's only fitting we go from R. Kelly to the Pulse nightclub shooter to the crying Nazi. Right? The crying Nazi from Charlottesville now says he's an FBI informant. This is kind of like the news you don't get anywhere else, you know? The odd news. You know, we're not going to talk about gun control here and poor little hog kid, whoever that kid is, man. You know, oh, by the way, you know that Laura Ingraham, you know, who got in trouble for beating down on Hogg? We listen to her every morning when we get into the car. We got a nice car now, so we got a radio in the car. The last car we didn't have a radio. And we listen to Laura Ingraham every morning, and we call her the racist because her whole morning show derives around immigrants and immigration and Mexicans. And just, she is. And even when she complains about, she's, well, I got work done on my house and they didn't do it right. And then I started checking to see if they had any illegals working for her. She's just an angry woman, man, in every possible way. But so she tried to lay a beat down on this kid, Hogg, and he turned around and laid a beat down on her by asking all his new followers, this little kid, all his followers to boycott her sponsors, and they're doing it, man. All her sponsors are dumping Laura Ingraham like a hot potato. But the crying Nazi, you gotta love crying Nazis. You know, you got these alt-right characters and these Nazis, and some of these Nazis are very fine people. I'm the first to admit that. We're very, you know, according to our president, some of these Nazis are very fine people, but they are a bunch of crybabies. And they're tough, and behind their keyboards, they're rough and tough, and they got their swastikas, and they wave their guns around, and they will post pictures in them and stuff like that. But when it comes down to a face-to-face confrontation with these Nazis, they usually run away crying like they did in Charlottesville. It was on Fox News, okay? The Nazis were marching away. And Fox News comes out and says, well, where are you guys going? Well, we don't know where we're going. We got gassed by Jews. How ironic is that? Because the Jews sprayed tear gas in their eyes. They're not the Jews, but the counter protesters, the people who stood up to these crying Nazis down there in Charlottesville. So when there's a face-to-face confrontation, these guys lose every single time, and they got to run home and cry, and they got to go and hide behind the cops because. And even when you see these in these attacks in Berkeley's, when they try and strategically attack, when they see like the rainbow flag and they assume it's a bunch of lesbian women and we're going to attack these women, you know, and that's what we're going to attack or assault. They still get beat up and they lose, and they got to run away crying. But the crying Nazi in Charlottesville is this guy, Chris Cantwell. He's the guy who Vice TV did a whole piece on him. Here's the new alt-right, the Nazi. And he's sitting back, tough guy, showing all his weapons. I got all my weapons here. We're looking for a fight. I want to be more confrontational. I want to be more violent. I work out to be more violent, right? And then when it turns out what happened was he gets maced at the thing, at the rally there, and then he finds out that they got an arrest warrant for him. So he does a YouTube video where he starts crying on the YouTube video. He's like, I don't know why I didn't do anything wrong. It was all just talk. It was just talk. I didn't really want to fight anybody. I didn't want to hurt anybody. This is all a bunch of show business for me. So like Alex Jones. Right? Well, anyway, this guy doesn't know when to leave well enough alone. Turns out, he's like in his online chat with some. They call him a notorious right-wing hacker named Andrew Weave. I never heard of this guy. He's notorious. He's so notorious. I never heard of him. But he's this right-wing hacker, Andrew Weave, And Quintel says that he talks to the cops too, and going to talk to the feds soon, most likely. And the feds want to bust Antifa, and I'm keen to help them. So now Weave says, whoa, man, hey, I don't deal with no rats. That's a blanking behavior. And then promptly leaks screenshots of the conversation. So then Cantwell doubles down in a blog post on Sunday titled, I'm a federal informant, in which he claims that cooperating with the FBI is the only way to get back at Antifa since the authorities in Charlottesville have given license to mass thugs and terrorists to wage war on the streets. That's right. And you showed up on the streets for a fight, and we showed up on the streets for a fight, and you ran away crying. Okay, that's what happened. But then Cantwell's logic stumbled even further down the rabbit hole in a blog post on Monday. We are not criminals. If the FBI searched every electronic device I ever owned and pumped me full of top secret truth drugs, I literally couldn't give them a single effing thing. Cantwell exclaimed. There is absolutely no chance I could snitch on any of our guys, even if I wanted to. So, and this is something that the people think that they can get away with. They think that they can, listen, in my business, I deal with a lot of guys facing serious time in prison. I'm a private investigator, criminal defense investigator. Deal with a lot of guys facing time. Okay? And if everybody would just do their own time, we'd be a lot better off, because what happens is you got a guy, selling marijuana, whatever he's doing, a little thing going on here, and he gets ratted out by someone else who doesn't want to do their own time. They want someone else to do their time for them. So we wouldn't have these prisons overloaded. 20% of our population involved in the criminal justice system, either in jail, prison, parole, or probation, or some court-supervised anger management class. 25% of our population caught up in this system. And then once you get caught up in this system, you have no chance of getting out of it, because the parole system and the probation system is designed to cause you to fail. Okay, you have no rights. They can come search your home. They can come search your car. Once you get pulled over, once they know you're on probation or parole, that it's a 80% chance you're getting taken in. And they're going to find something to cause it to bring you in. And people think, well, I'm going to make a deal. I'm going to rat. I'm going to become an informant for the cops. I'm going to make a case for the cops to get me out of my case. And you know what? And no one's going to find out. They think no one's going to find out. But now, with maybe 30 years ago, you could get away with this kind of stuff, because people would have to go to the courthouse. They'd have to pull your records and see what went on with your case. But now anybody can pretty much pull up your case online, okay? And they could see, well, look at this. The guy's facing a 1-year mandatory minimum with a 4-year maximum. And when he gets to sentencing, the judge says, I'm going to suspend your sentence and let you out on probation. Well, why did that happen? What went on there? And there's clear signs of what happens is, well, like along the way, your lawyer will say, well, we're going to waive this hearing and we're going to waive all kind of defense. We're going to just waive everything and cooperate with the prosecution. These are clear red herrings, red flags. Okay, that this defendant in this case is making a deal with the prosecutor. Then you start seeing things. Well, they're holding this guy in jail, and they're bringing him out of jail like every 2 weeks, for some kind of a BS hearing, and he's meeting with the probation department. They're pulling him out of his housing in the jail to go talk to the cops. These are clear signs. And what happens is, then the guy gets out of jail. He goes on his probation. He screws up while he's out on probation because he got no punishment, right? They got a probation violation. They throw him right back in. When now he's going to prison for the 1 to 4 years. And let me tell you, when you get to prison, people in prison check your file to see who they're living with. Okay? There's serious gangs in prison. There's motorcycle gangs. There's organized crime in prison. And they check out who's living with them. Are you a rat or are you not a rat? And they hire people like me to check your file to see if you've been ratting out on people. So this stuff gets back. And then you wind up in the supervised custody, okay, and segregated custody over there, protective custody, all right, where you can't, once you're in protective custody, by the way, this is stuff they don't tell you when they cutting you these deals. When you're in protective custody, you can't work, okay? You can't work. You're in protective extra supervised custody. You're under more supervision. You have less freedom. You're locked in a cell with one other guy. You're only getting out like 8-10 hours a day. You spend most of your time locked up in your housing there. You can't get out to work, so you can't get that work time. You can't get the work time is added to your good time, which cuts down your sentence, the length of your sentence. But if you're in that protective custody, you can't get that. You can't get out and work, so you can't get that break on your sentence. You can't get out to classes and drug rehab to get your sentence reduced. So you wind up hurting yourself more, especially if you're the kind of guy that you can't stay out of trouble. When they let you out on a sweetheart deal, you get probation. You wind up screwing up, you violate your probation in a month, and you're in there for 4 years now, and you can't work, and you can't get out in school. You can't get your GED in there because you're in that rat protection custody there. Anyway, we'll get more to this crying Nazi after this. I'm going to start crying in a minute. Right back after these messages. More crying Nazis.
And now a word from our sponsors.
People are waking up. They're standing up to those pushing pesticides and GMOs as safe alternatives for a starving world. What a bunch of crap! I tell you, I'd rather eat dirt. So I drink Life Change Tea. It's an herbal drink, cleansing my body of toxic sludge and nasty chemicals, and of course, ridding the intruders that are hidden in my so-called food. And by the way, Life Change Tea is non-GMO and organic. No fillers, no yuck. Just a great defense against you-know-what. May the supplement force awaken you. Don't fall to the dark side. Sorry. I went to the movies last night. Anyway, enough said. How do you get that herbal drink and change your life? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. You will awaken. You will get stronger, and you might even lose a bit of weight. So awaken to Life Change Tea and the many one-of-a-kind supplements at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. May the supplement force be with you.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company located in India. So you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service to boot. They offer all kinds of services, business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshore research networking, customer care, press release content writing and distribution, and much, much more. They offer website development, e-commerce solutions, mobile responsive designs. Now, I've personally worked with Subhash for over 10 years. This is the man that puts out my press releases. They've done work on my websites, so I can personally recommend SubhashTechnosis.com. You can find the link to Subhash Technosis at OppermanReport.com and also AwakeRadio.us. You can have your ad played here at OppermanReport.com every Friday night, 5 p.m., and Saturday night, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And on Friday nights, too, we do a live portion for 1 hour that I just do a live monologue. The ads are very, very inexpensive, and they're also played in the Opperman Report member section. In the member section, you can find all kinds of exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. It's as cheap as $6 a month, $20 a quarter, or $75 for a year. If you contact me directly at oppermanreport@gmail.com, I'll set you up with a little special deal there where you get a discount if you PayPal me directly, and you even get a copy of my book. I want to thank Sean Duff from strawmanmusic.com. He's an excellent musician. And I also want to thank William Ramsey, who helps us produce the show and book guests. You can find William Ramsey, who's an excellent author, at William Ramsey Investigates on YouTube.
We all have questions. Did he do it or did he not? We all have opinions, but do we really know the truth? New evidence will now be presented and the ultimate answers will be revealed in the explosive documentary, Serpents Rising. Inspired by the bestseller Double Cross for Blood, an independent investigation of the trial of the century, the lies, the myths, and the concealed evidence. Don't miss Serpents Rising.
This excellent documentary film is available at Serpents Rising at Vimeo Videos on demand. Watch it for $1.99.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Welcome. Okay, where are we here now? Crying Nazi. Yeah, my point was about the crying Nazi and doing his own time. Was his thinking is, yeah, I'm a rat, but I'm ratting out my enemies. And that doesn't work when you get to prison. Because once you got that rat jacket, it doesn't matter who you ratted out, whether you ratted out your friends, your best friend, your partners, or whatever. Then people rat out their fathers and their mothers too, guys. I gotta tell you, man. Some pretty, man. I don't know what they're so afraid of either. Just do your own time is the thing. Because if this guy Cantwell now ever winds up in prison or in a jail, he's going to have him in protective custody. He can't work in a prison, can't reduce his sentence, and he's going to be in extra supervision away from the general population, under extra observation, extra supervision. Do you know that 25% of the people in prison catch new charges while they're in prison? They commit another crime while they're in prison. A battery, a possession of a weapon, a possession of drugs, and they got a new charge while they're in there. Battery under another prison is like 7 years you get for battering another prison. It's insane. So, and this is what happens, So now you're under more supervision, and they take away your good time. You're in there under this heightened, close security, higher security section of the prison. They're observing you more. You get infractions for stupid little thing, damaging property, hanging your sheet, to have some privacy, and then you lose your good time. So you don't even get your good time, man, because one day you get one infraction, you got to lose 120 days good time. So you think you're making up your time every month. You're not. It's losing time. So not good to be a rat. Okay. Now, everybody's talking about Stormy Daniels, right? Stormy Daniels. And the Stormy Daniels case. And they got this new lawyer. She has this new lawyer there. He's on TV every 5 minutes. But the original lawyer, who, I'm going to give you some behind-the-scenes information about Stormy Daniels and how these things work. Original lawyer who cut this deal with Michael Cohen was Keith Davidson. And as you know, Keith Davidson's my lawyer. I work with Keith Davidson. I do jobs with Keith Davidson all the time. He's the first guy, whenever I have a case come to me, he's the first guy I send him to is Keith Davidson. He's my go-to guy because he's an excellent lawyer. All right? And he knows how to do these things. But what is the nexus between, how did Stormy Daniels get to Keith Davidson? Well, she got to Keith Davidson through Gina Rodriguez. Now, Gina Rodriguez was my agent. Gina Rodriguez was my client. Worked many cases for Gina Rodriguez. We've had a little falling out, me and Gina, okay? But we both have that kind of personality where she has falling outs with everybody. She had a falling out with Dr. Drew. She had a falling out with Octomom. She had a falling out with everybody. And me and Gina had a falling out, but she tried calling me the other day, and I assumed that we're better. But whatever. Who knows? I'm difficult too. But I want to explain to you a little bit about Gina Rodriguez and who she is. And I have nothing against her, okay? But this is the woman who put this whole deal together that's taking down the President of the United States. Gina Rodriguez. Now, you may know her already because she used to be known by the name Demi Delia when she was a porn star. Gina Rodriguez herself was a porn star, and she was a stripper herself. That's how she started out. Did many, many pornographic movies. Demi Delia, you can look her up. Right? She's wearing this like a pirate hat on her head. Right? And she even did a series. She had her own reality TV series. I think it was on Hulu, called Triple X Mommy. Or Triple X Mom, something like that. And it's interesting. In one of her scenes, because she had some breast augmentation done. And in one of her scenes in that series, who comes to visit her but Elliot Spence? Elliot Mintz. Elliot Mintz. who was the agent for and the manager for Paris Hilton, and he's supposedly John Lennon's best friend, and all that stuff. He's involved with her. Now, I came into contact with Gina Rodriguez during the Tiger Woods case. She hired me to vet out the Tiger Woods mistresses, to go through their phones and find evidence that they were connected to Tiger Woods. And then she got involved with a lawsuit because she was dating that guy, David Boreanaz from Bones. And her lawyer in that was Gloria Allred. And she was accused of extortion, trying to extort money out of David Boreanaz. Right? And then she got me involved in the Ashton Kutcher case. And Ashton Kutcher was dating this young girl, and they sent me her phone. And we found his caller ID was there on the phone. He was calling her up. We found texts. We found it in there. But the press said, no, it never happened. And then when the next woman came forward, and then Demi Moore admitted that she filed for divorce, then they said, oh, yeah, he's doing it. Okay. She's also been the agent for people like the Real Housewives. She was the agent and manager for the Salahis, to Salik, and oh my God, Mikhail Salahi. And you might recall they broke up, and Mikhail Salahi went with David Sean, that guy Neil Sean from Journey. Don't stop believing, right? Journey. And so there was a little incident one morning when Tariq Salahi was convinced that his wife Mikhail was abducted. And he called Gina. Gina was all upset, and they called me. And I was looking into this. I was trying to locate her. I get a call from the FBI because finally they got the FBI to come on the case, but I was still doing my own little machinations here trying to locate her. And they contacted me and said, listen, you have to halt your investigation. Okay. And I says, no, I don't. He says, yes, you do. Because we're on this case now. We're locating her, and we don't need your help, and we don't want you interfering. And I says, no. I don't have to stop. What I'm doing is lawful. I'm not interfering with you. I've been hired. I'm looking for a client. Yeah. No. You have to stop. We're warning you. You got to stop. Okay, we're gonna get now. They're off the case, hunting down Mikhail Salahi, and now they're gonna come over and arrest me. And I'm not sitting down with these guys. I refuse to take them. I just refuse to obey their orders. Right? I'll fight with them. But anyway, they found her like in 5 minutes, man. I guess they pinged her cell phone, all this kind of stuff, and they found her right away. And she was with Neil Sean. She had run away to go be with Neil Sean from Journey. But I put out in my press release that after my consultation with the FBI, they located her. But anyway, these are the kind of people that Gina Rodriguez manages. Octomom was one of her big clients there, and she did all that stuff with Octomom. She made Octomom famous, and then all the Octomom scandals and stuff like that. Half of it was all, Sydney Leathers from Wienergate, that was Gina. Okay, all the people you see on Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab, Gina booked all those people. There was a lie detector TV series. Gina booked all those people on that. So this is who she is. This is a former porn star. Who there was another case too. There's an article out there. I don't know if it. There's an article out there. Okay, and I'm quoting the article that says that Gina and Keith was the lawyer in the lawsuit against Charlie Sheen, where there was a gay escort that was provided to Charlie Sheen. He taped an encounter with Charlie Sheen, and then he sued him because he had unprotected sex with Charlie Sheen. This is how he came out to Charlie Sheen as homosexual or bisexual and has sex with men. This is the crowd. You might have seen the TV show, the TV series, Mama June. Remember the Honey Boo Boo, little Honey Boo? Here comes little Honey Boo Boo, right? The little chubby pageant child. And her mother was Mama June. And then Mama June was dating all these pedophiles. And so they took the show off the air in a scandal. But then just recently there was a new TV series called Mama June, From Not to Hot. Well, guess who was behind that and set that whole thing up? That was Gina Rodriguez. And if you watch that series and go back and find it Put Locker or whatever you could find it on right now. There's scenes with Gina Rodriguez where Mama June is firing Gina and Gina's firing Mama June. Because like I said, Gina doesn't get along with anybody. She has a falling out with everybody. And they actually wrote that into the script on the show there. Now, the point I'm trying to make to you, okay, and you can go to DD Entertainment, and look up her clients, her list of clients. And her client at this time was Stormy Daniels. And the point I'm trying to make to you, and let this seep in, okay, is that the person who outsmarted Michael Cohen and the person who outsmarted Donald Trump and took down the Donald Trump presidency, if anything's going to take him down, it's going to be the Stormy Daniels thing. And you know who did that? Octomom's agent. Octomom's agent took down Donald Trump, outsmarted Donald Trump. The art of the deal. The smartest deal maker he got the smartest words. He's got the smartest. He hires the best people. He's got the best lawyers. And he was outsmarted by Octomom's agent. By Mama June. Mama June's agent outsmarted the President of the United States, the current President of the United States. Okay? And I could give you a list too, man, characters, man, people, me, my agent. My agent outsmarted the President of the United States. How's that? All right. Want to give a shout out to Shane, not Sean. Shane. These Irish people know how to spell their names. Shane McKay is my resident audio engineer. Shane McKay. It's spelled S-E-I-N. Now, how is an American supposed to know how these Irish people spell their names? Over there, where they're in the middle of in between beers and whiskey, right? Over there. That's why they can't spell their names right. But it's spelled S-E-I-N. Shane McKay. And see, there's a lot of difficulties when you're doing this radio show, when you got a guest on, they're on Skype, they're on a phone over there, and you can't get the audio levels mixed right, and and there's feedback and there's all kinds of stuff. And so what I do now is, if you notice the improved quality of my of the airtime of the broadcast, is because every single broadcast I do, I record the MP3, I send it off to Ireland to Shane McKay, and he does his magic on it, audio enhancement and editing and mastering, and he handles my audio enhancement and restoration. He's a sound technician, handles technical support and production assistance. He handles everything for me. He sends it over to KYAH for me. He does it all. He puts in the commercials. Sometimes we got a set of commercials we want to send to this station, a set of commercials we want to send to the other station. He pulls the old ones out, he puts the new ones in, and he does all this for me as a volunteer to help the show. So you have any kind of work in this area that you want to send to Shane McKay, SEINMACKAY @gmail.com. You can find him on Upwork.com under Shane M, SEINM. And you can hire him very reasonable prices. Does excellent work. You could tell. Go back and listen to the old shows from Revolution Radio and listen to the shows now and listen to the difference in the audio quality. And tell me that Shane McKay is not worth his weight in Irish whiskey over there. Shane McKay. Thank you so much, Shane. And don't forget tomorrow, not tomorrow, what am I talking about? I don't even know what day it is. But March 31st, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Kendra Scott Jewelry Store located in the Fashion Show Mall. They're going to have desserts. They're going to have drinks. And 20% of all the proceeds are going to go to the Hope Medical Clinic to help provide free medical service to people who need it, don't have insurance, and can't afford to go to the doctor. So if you're going to make a purchase for Mother's Day, they can even take a phone order and ship it for free anywhere in the continental U.S. And 20% of that order will go to the Hope Medical Clinic. And if you're a member, check out the member section. I have an interview there with Dr. Elliot Shin. Really cool guy. I know him from church, man. Real legit guy, man. He's just devoted his life to helping sick people and doing it for free. So they need your support. We need your support, too. Check out OperaReport.com. We've got a special member section. And by supporting the member section, that's how we're able to fund all this, to pay for Spreaker and pay for iHeart and the internet and pay for Skype and all these kind of expenses we have here at OperaReport.com. Become a member. If you want a deal, I'll give you 13 months for $60. Just email me at operamanreport@gmail.com. If you want to advertise on the show, we got great advertising rates. It's so ridiculously cheap. You wouldn't even imagine how cheap it is. Email me at operamanreport@gmail.com. We will play on AM radio 6 days a week in morning drive time, 8 a.m. to a population of over 2 million people it reaches. Okay? And then also on iHeart, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, many internet radio stations, about 5 or 6 at the moment. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. My little behind-the-scenes information here about Stormy Daniels and R. Kelly and the Pulse nightclub shooting and crying Nazis. And we'll have more fun games and